Joan Vion, Michael Shaw, Dr. Albrecht, Katherine Albrecht, Jim Mars, Dr. Stan, Joel Skousen, Butch Paw, Michael Badnarik. And it's funny because when you go to film these people, first of all, the object of the game is to find a celebrity. I did commercials in L.A. We were out there 22 years. To find a celebrity because to interweave the story, because the American people are, unfortunately, commercially trained to listen to celebrities. So I knew from being in commercials if we could find someone that would perhaps carry the day. And I can tell you, it's not easy to find celebrities today who aren't looking over their shoulders on these issues. So I just was thrilled.
It's hard to find people that aren't cowards, is what you mean.
Yeah, to put it more succinctly. So I was thrilled when we got Charlie, and I had followed his blog or his soapbox on his charliedaniels.com site, and he's on it. And so the funny story is, I still took me a long time to get in touch with him, and finally his manager called and said, I don't think Charlie would do this because he had a stroke and he's just not doing a lot of things besides his music right now. But this is the kind of thing he likes. I'm going to give him the script. 2 days later, Charlie called me and said, I'm going to be in San Antonio next week. I want to meet with you. So he did. I met him in a hotel. My wife went, and we went over points of the script. And, of course, mostly his part was scripted. And he said, I want to see you in Nashville in a week. So we were there, and the rest is history.
Well, he does a great job, and this film deserves to be seen. Behold a Pale Horse, America's Last Chance, just a who's who. Tell us about the fella that he's in a lot of big movies and stuff. You've also got, this has got actors. You've got the Alamo in it. I don't know how you did this on the budget you had. You've got the fella that plays George Washington, playing George Washington with quotes. It's really neat. This is something, too, that's really family-oriented. You can show homeschoolers this, churches. It's hardcore, but it's smooth at the same time.
Well, we wanted to... we've all got friends and family who glaze over at the first thought of any of these issues, and me included. And I wanted to have a primer, a tool to give people, and start part one off in a more easy mode. Part two and part three were ramped up, and but I wanted to get them started easily. So we've had a good response from that. And but generally speaking, it has. We went, luckily, in Dripping Springs with the movie set from the most recent film of the Alamo, and I knew the bottom line to me was that we, all Americans, and people of the world, in fact, have to draw our own line in the sand, as Travis did. So I wanted this to have theatrical interest and not just be your normal documentary, but have interviews intermixed with historical reenactments like Washington crossing the Delaware, which we shot near Valley Forge. But at the Alamo, we got, amazingly, a lot of the people that were actually in the movie, the real movie, and we were able to film out there. And not long after we filmed, the place burned down, so we felt really lucky. But the bottom line to this whole story is we have to draw a line in the sand. And after that scene, General Boykin comes back and says, we were all born for such a time as this. We have to put on the armor of God, and we were all born for such a time as this. So there were many poignant moments. I said Charlie's part was scripted, but he really comes up with zingers periodically, and he suddenly shouted when we were filming in Nashville in a log cabin in freezing weather. He said, I'm not going to allow these scumbags to steal my country. I'm in this fight for the long term. And in a couple of points, he was talking about what we're losing, like D-Day and various things he experienced as a child growing up in World War II, and he started crying. And it was all real, and that's the thing about him. He's the perfect Americana icon because he's just real.
Well, watching the globalists try to wreck our families, try to brainwash our children, to even turn on mainline television now, it is so sick. What they do. And adults are like, oh, it's no big deal. Yeah, because you're an adult. Little children are watching this. The stuff, again, they're putting in the water, all of it. These are just bad people. And they've got to be dealt with. And films like yours is a serious weapon Now, you cover the waterfront. Is also what I like about Behold a Pale Horse. You get into so many different facets. Break down basically, in general, what you cover. I mean, the central point is it's time to stand up. It's time to say no. It's time to draw the line in the sand and explain, what the globalists are up to. But you also cover a whole host of issues for people. I just think you've hit a home run here. And that's why I'm very, very excited to be promoting it. Again, folks, it's Behold a Pale Horse, America's Last Chance, starring country music legend Charlie Daniels, but so many others, available at InfoWarsShop.com. I hope you get it today. But Chuck Untersee, the director and creator of this with his wife that works so hard, you kind of give us a program here. Break down some of the key points of the film Behold a Pale Horse.
Well, again, carrying the theme of the story is woven in and out of the story is Charlie, and some of the main issues. There are a lot of sidebars, but generally begins with General Boykin and the communist insurgency that we're facing. And world communism really doesn't matter, as he says, what you call it. As you know, it's socialism, fascism, communism. It's just bad guys.
It's a bunch of criminals that want to collectivize things.
So he breaks that down, and I would say there's an intense focus on Agenda 21. Michael Kaufman and Michael Shaw and Dr. Stan Montief, and the surveillance state, the nanny state, RFID, secret societies. It has a whole lot to do. I pondered. I was just in turmoil for This taken 3 years. I was in turmoil for 3 years about. It's easy to illustrate the issues. The real issue that's difficult is the solution, and it really just comes down to I finally it just came to me, and less is more. It was a simple answer, and that is two things. One, we have to we the people are a little short on government these days, and we the people have to wake up from an intellectual stupor, and if we can educate people as quickly as possible, that's the solution, coupled with wearing out your knees praying, because it's a spiritual war. And Dr. Stan, when we filmed him in Monterey Bay, said, it's all so complex and so infinite and so all-encompassing that the human mind could not comprehend it or could not initiate it. And of course, that's one description, but it's just basically the answer.
No, it's exactly. The deeper you get into this, you realize there really is a dark force, and it wants to kill everything on this planet. And the globalists are its instruments. They are just minions of this.
You made a comment a minute ago about the church in the earlier guest, but in part two, we have Pastor Butch Paul, and he goes over the 501c3 or breaks it down. But he said, during the Revolution, there were the pulpits were aflame with righteous indignation against the tyranny of the crown. And of course, today you don't hear that. You rarely hear that. And if the pulpits could be turned around to preach reality to the people, this would be over. And of course, by design, we have the 501c3, which muzzles the church. But we have something I'm really excited that's going to wind up on our website pretty soon, and that is we're hoping this will go viral from a grassroots level, but we're hoping to tutor people. We're offering on one of our pages to tutor people to make an event out of showing a Blu-ray in a local theater, and we will sell DVDs wholesale and just stimulate people to make an event out of it. Have local patriot speakers come, but there's nothing like the experience of seeing any film on the big screen compared to television. And we showed the film in Fredericksburg, and they sold out 200 seats, and they had turned away 40 people, and when it was over, people stood and clapped and cheered and whistled. So I think that around the country, people don't realize you can just go to a theater, and usually it's $250, $300, and you can rent the theater.
Exactly. We'll be right back. Stay with us. We're striking back against tyranny.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that?
Don't forget this radio broadcast and the media system we're building. Over 45 people now here at the Infowars.com Command Center, and growing. Got a new newspaper magazine coming out next month. It's going to be free. on newsstands all over the place. We're planning to roll it out nationwide. We're going to start in Austin and also mail it out to listeners with all the orders. We're going to print 50,000 of them up front. We're doing the special reports, the nightly news. We're getting some new films in production and reaching tens of millions a week now. 3 million a day on the radio. And we couldn't do it without you. We don't have the big globalist sponsorship. We don't take your tax money and banker bailouts and give it to MSNBC like the globalists do. We have Mike Hanson's book back in print, Cult of Conspiracy. Very important. We have Dreams from My Real Father, Joel Gilbert, available at InfoWarsShop.com. A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City, 1995. The Money Masters, such an important film to understand the banksters. And, of course, Clouded Titles, the book by David Krieger. Amazing information, all available at InfoWarsShop.com. And please support our local AM and FM affiliate sponsors as well, including if you're a local business, becoming a sponsor. There's a lot of ways to defeat the globalists. Many hands make light work. We're also carrying a new film, Nullification, The Right Remedy, about 10th Amendment issues. Again, we got a few minutes left with Chuck Untersee of Behold a Pale Horse. Excited to hear part 2 and 3 are going to be out, I guess, in the next year or so. But very exciting film. Other points you'd like to add here at the end of the hour, Chuck?
Yeah, we do hope to have we're editing currently for part 2 and part 3 and look forward to further collaboration with you. But I feel we can have them out by the election because, as we all know, time is short. We live in a very remote area. In fact, I had to come to town I'm at national headquarters of Sheriff Richard Mack because I don't have a phone out there. We had to come use his phone. But the point is, I get up in the morning to feed the horses, and the cattle are coming up, and the chickens are crowing, and it's just idyllic, and we designed it to be that way, of course. And we don't have electricity, we don't have TV. We wanted to get back to reality. But one of the poignant moments in the film was Michael Badnarik, who said, "Once you know, you can never not know." And I don't want to know. I'm sure you don't. It would be nice if the world were Norman Rockwell, but it's not. And I think we all have to realize slumber is over. We should quit running around saying, God bless America, and focus on bless God, America. What we have done through abortion and being the scourge of the globe and taking God out of everything in the country has created a situation where we're under judgment. And if we can turn it around, if we don't make the effort.
That's right. God is using people like you and many others to give people a final warning. And if we don't make a big turn now, it's going to be bad news. Chuck Untersee, we have huge breaking news in the final minutes of this hour. God bless you. Folks should get the film at InfoWarsShop.com. Behold a Pale Horse. We're going to talk to you in studio very soon. I want to get you and your wife in here so folks can take a look at you. I've had a chance to meet you in person. You're a great guy. God bless you.
Thanks, Alex. Talk to you soon.
You bet. I just looked at Infowars.com. Believe it or not, the battery ran out in my wireless thing and hadn't looked at it in about 30 minutes. Report, Russia moves nuclear missiles to Cuba. Wow. That's up at Infowars.com. FBI admits Pentagon dinner guest Anwar al-Awlaki worked for them. Huge news from Kurt Nimmo. Court orders TSA to explain why it continues to defy the law. Man, I tell you, it's getting crazy. Former Mossad chief to Iranians be fearful the next 12 weeks. Ron Paul versus the murderous evil of sanctions against Iran. The neoconservative war criminals in our midst. The Next 4 Years by Gerald Celente. Max Kaiser, Banking Dictatorship Like Cancer. It is all up there at Infowars.com right now. Wow. I mean, it's getting crazy.